Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the new anthology horror film, Beware the Boogeyman. And this film is from a variety of different writers and directors, including Tim Coyle, Calvin Maury McCarthy, Josh Dietrich, Kai Pacifico Eng, Cheyenne Ray Schertz. And this film focuses on a first day orientation of Dr. Tristian Mackenzie, who makes her way through Silverdale Psychiatric Hospital for the criminally insane, meeting all the usual suspects and learning their stories from the strange Dr. Moon. And this is the framing device for them to be able to tell these anthology stories from these different perspectives. This is certainly a film that you could tell has a very small budget. It feels like it does have a lot of amateur actors, those who might not have the most screen experience, and a lot of that shows. It's one of those kinds of films where it's like you can't help but avoid some of its limitations. I do think that you have one very specific unnerving entity, this boogeyman that keeps popping up in all these stories, which adds a little bit of extra intrigue into the fact that this is an anthology horror film, and there's actually a little bit of connection between each of them because it has the same entity trying to do horrible things to each of these people, and influencing them to do horrible things or driving them insane, and they all wind up in the psychiatric ward. When they don't show it like real up close, because like once you actually really see what this boogeyman looks like, it's like really does just look like a Halloween type mask and stuff like that. There's some decent visuals, there's some decent tension, there's some, in each of these different stories, there's some bit of flair from a filmmaking perspective, and you could appreciate that. I don't think any of these particular stories are going to blow your socks off in terms of the depth and the horror that it brings. It's one of those kinds of things where it's like each of them are serviceable. They all lead up to a very specific, familiar kind of beat that kind of links all these stories together. And even the framing device gets a little bit crazier as the film goes on, and you're not even quite sure what to make of all of it by the end. It's one of those films where I think if you're a big horror fan and you're okay with some smaller budget horror, this has its moments. But overall, it feels like it's just a stringing together of these short films, more or less, all with the same entity antagonist in it. And you could definitely see it struggling with its budget and some of its acting ability, and just trying to balance this all. It does not come off as something that's truly interesting, engaging, and overall, most importantly, scary. So in the end, this one definitely feels like it's one of those low budget kind of horror films that maybe you'll have some fun with its lack of budget, but overall, it's just not as effective as it could have been. But those are my thoughts on Beware the Boogeyman. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.